Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Here in southern Indiana, the temperatures turned a little cold, but we don't have all the snow that the East Coast is getting hit with. So I guess it's wintertime, right? So I am super excited to share this master class with you today. It's getting to the end of the year. What a year we've had, 2020. And at least in the United States, this is when we all start kind of scratching our head and trying to figure out, okay, how are we going to get all of our tax papers together, all of that kind of stuff. And I wanted to share with you my secret weapon of what I use to help keep my all my expenses together. That's the main thing I'm talking about today, are my expenses, because we can lose so much money on the table, so to speak, when it comes to figuring out your taxes at the end of the year. And I want to make sure that you get credit or benefit for every single penny that you spend. And so I have an Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to just walk you through how I use it. I am going to try to convert it to a Google sheet, but there's some calculations in the back end. So I think I have to redo those calculations. Now, let me say this. If the financial thing, the whole Excel spreadsheet thing is not your bag, don't worry, because it's very easy to use. And I'm just going to walk you through on that. All right. So I'm going to get started here. Hey, I see a couple people are joining me live. I love that. So make sure that you give me comments as we're going along live. If you are watching it on a replay, then make sure that you let me know you've watched it on the replay. So I am going to share my screen, and we're just going to jump right in here. And I'll move this out of the way. So just let me know if you can see this, and we're going to jump into it. Now, first thing I'm going to do is kind of quickly, I'll just move this around so you can see it. I think my little banner is blocking things. So let me just hide that for a second so you can see the whole screen. So this spreadsheet, there's all kinds of tabs at the bottom here. And the second to the last, or on the right side, there's a tab that says yearly total. So just let me show you how wonderful this is going to be next year in 2021 when you sit down to do your taxes. You'll notice that I have some what I'm calling standard categories of things that you spend money on every month, and then miscellaneous things. And if you can see, it's giving me a running total. So I can look at this sheet and I can see that maybe I've spent $1,100 this year on my marketing program called KARTRA, which is a drop in the bucket if you are not using an all-in-one. Or if I look at Canva, I've spent $168 this year on Canva. So this just gives me the categories, a yearly running total for that. Then it also gives me a running total for each month of what my expenses are. Now, you're going to see here in a second that where all of these expenses come from. And then it gives me a yearly total of everything I've spent for my expenses for the business that year. Then I have a column here that I've shaded in yellow, and this is where you would just go through and plug in your monthly income, okay? And this is manual here, but however you're getting your money, you just reconcile that and you just type it in. So on this page, and this is under the yearly totals, the only column that you ever touch or type into is the income column. Okay, so I've shaded it yellow, very easy for you. Now, another thing that I want to show you is down here at the bottom, I've just called it profit. So what it does is it takes all of your income minuses all of your expenses, and that gives you a running profit. Now, let me reverse it a little bit. Let's say that we're just getting started in our business and, we're not making a lot of money yet. And I'm just going to enter in a few amounts here. And now you'll notice that, halfway through the year, maybe I've only made a little bit of money. My expenses are more than my money. And then notice down here, it turns it red. So at a quick glance, I can see where I'm at during the year with my income, if I'm making money or if I'm sinking money down the drain. All right. So let me know in the comments if this is making sense to you. So this is that last or second to the last page, the yearly total. Now let me just jump over, and you'll notice at the bottom, there's a tab for each month. Let me just jump over. I'm just going to click on December and give you like a bird's eye view of how that looks. So each month has kind of a running list of things that you might be spending your money on in your business. So I had just put in a high number here to play with it. So let's say that normally your web page monthly expenses is only like $35 or something. Well, I'm just going to put in $1,000. So let's say I purchased a year in advance or 3 years in advance my website, all of that stuff for the next 3 years, and it's $1,000. So here in December, I just enter in $1,000. And now let me jump over here to the yearly totals, and you'll see that, notice that number jumped up. It was 385. Now it's jumped up to 1,000. So do you see how it's carrying over all of those expenses every month? So I don't have to worry about it. It will automatically update this sheet. Okay. So let me just, we'll go all the way back to January. So starting next year, let's say that the expenses that you are using, you just leave them and you just modify whatever the month is. So starting out of the gate, $35 is good to go. But maybe halfway through the year, something's changed on my website service. So I'm going to just click over here on May. And maybe starting in May, my website fees go up to $40. Okay, so starting in February, I would just click here and I would type that. Now, as when you start using this, and I'm going to talk about how you can modify the template in just a few minutes, but as you go along in your business, so let me just go back over here to December. So I'm finishing up the year here in December, and I'm at kind of near the bottom how I have all of these other categories. So these might be monthly categories that you're subscribing to, or it may be just something unique for that month. So maybe I've signed up for a virtual retreat, something that I'm doing here in December, and that retreat's going to cost me $300. I just type that there. If I wanted to put a date so I could keep track of, when I'm spending the money specifically, I could do that also. So I've added an extra $300 this month to my expenses in December. And again, if I come over here to my yearly totals, then you'll see down here under December, it's added some extra things there. All right, those extra expenses. So each month, again, it's just going to continue to add what those expenses are and carry it over. And if you scroll down on the bottom of each one of these sheets, it gives you that updated total. So let me just click over here on November. And on November, I did not have that extra expense. So notice my monthly expense for November was $515. I'll go back to October. The same thing. Okay. Let me jump way over to March, for instance, and the same thing. All right. Does that make sense so far? All right. So the very first tab over here to the left, it's called Start Here. So I'm going to just click on that tab, and I've just given you some quick little instructions on how to use this. Now, I will have a link to this in the comments, and this spreadsheet will be out on the Google Drive. You must download it and save it as an Excel spreadsheet. If you're not a Microsoft person, it doesn't seem like it's working if you just tried to use it in Google Sheets. So again, I just have to modify some of my calculations that's on the back end, and hopefully in the future I'll have that available for you. So the directions, first you download it, and then what I tell you is I suggest that you make a copy of the entire workbook. So however you make a copy, even if you're inside, you could just do File, Save As, and make another copy. Because when you're first using it, you might kind of mess up with something. And if you have that original template, you can always go back and start over again. All right, so that's the first thing, make a copy. Then the second thing that I tell you is there's a tab here called Template. And what you're going to do is you're going to modify the template to match your business. And I'm saying here, if you right click, so if I just click on templates, and if I right click, then notice down here it says I can select all sheets. So what that will enable me to do is if I type something on one sheet, it will put it on all of the sheets. So I don't have to add that to January, February, March, and so forth. So just stick with me. If you're getting confused, this will make more sense in a second. So again, I'm going to go back to Start Here. So you'll need to modify the template. And then each month you simply go on to that month and enter in your expenses. And then it will do the updates at the end. So let me go to the template sheet, and let me just explain this here for a second. So if you're just getting started in your business, you may not have all of these expenses. You may not be spending money on an all-in-one marketing. You might be using like a free version of KARTRA, for instance. Or maybe with Canva, you are not using the paid version. You're just using the free version. You have a couple of options. What I would do is I would still leave Canva there, because in the future, you might upgrade to Canva, but you could just delete this amount here. And if you wanted that deleted, if I click down here at the bottom, if you wanted it deleted on every single sheet, then when you're in the template, you could right click, select all sheets, and then just delete that. All right. So again, don't let it stress you out too much. If you don't, if Excel's not your best friend, you'll be able to work it out. The other alternative is just when you come over here to January, if you're not paying for Canva, you can just delete it. All right. If you're not using Adobe, a paid version, you can delete it. So that's another way that you could take care of this. And then each month, and what I do is I actually have this spreadsheet available to me all the time. So it's top of mind. So every month when I get ready, or, if I just spend something. So maybe it's a, I don't know. I'm just going to say maybe I purchased a branding book off of Amazon, and I purchased that on January 2, 2021. And the book was $19, for instance. All right. I just enter it here while it's fresh in my mind. And again, when I come back over to totals, you're going to see that it's not making sense because not everything's been updated, but it's going to update all of those expenses. All right. So if you're watching live, or if you're watching on a replay, just let me know if that's making sense to you. The whole idea of this is have someplace that you're consistently going to update and keep track of any of your business expenses. You could just use a plain worksheet, not have anything filled in, but just have January through December. And every time you purchase something, you just come here, type it, and add the expense. All right. Now, some people, I've heard that what they do is they make all of their business expenses just through PayPal. And then at the end of the year, they just print that out and they've got a record of all their business expenses. And that's great. Or you might have like a business credit card that you use that for. The reason that I like to add things to this spreadsheet is a couple of reasons. One, when I come back over here to my yearly totals, I like to see how much money am I spending, for instance, on my phone bill? How much money am I spending on my internet? And this is literally the cable that comes to the house. And so here I can see that my internet bill costs me just under $1,000 a year. And again, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of all of these business expenditures because it's a tax write-off, right? So if you have a central place to help you kind of streamline or collect all those receipts together, you will know in a glance where you're at with your business expenses, how much money has gone out, and how much money has come in. So again, on this yearly total here, I've got a running total of how much money I'm spending. And right now, these numbers are being pulled from when I put this together. I just started picking all of the different monthly expenses that I have in my business so that I know out of the gate every month that I'm spending about that much. Okay. And then I would just use this worksheet and I would start at the end of the month. I would look at my records here and I would see how much money I've made. And then I would just start entering it. And then at a glance, I can always tell my profit and loss. I can tell my ongoing yearly expenses. I can determine how much I'm paying in a certain product, for instance. Here's a good example, Adobe Suite. During 2020, I actually subscribed to this, but I found that I'm not really using it that much. So instead of wasting $235 for 2021, I'm not moving forward with it. I'm just not using it enough in my business. Another expense that I use is Loom. I love Loom, and I use it for all of my recordings. And so this is definitely a keeper in my book. So $155 is nothing compared to the benefits that it gives me. All right. Now, there's one other thing that I want to share with you is I have the last tab here, and it's called annual expenses. I like to have a place that I keep track of all of those annual items and the date that they renew, because sometimes we forget about them and they sneak up on us. And you can either decide to just write that expense off, so let's say every December my domain account comes due, or my website, whatever it is, maybe I pay it annually. So in my monthly budgeting, I can just put that amount in, or if I'm just trying to kind of guesstimate how much I spend per month, I could prorate it if I wanted it. Sometimes you'll have expenses. So I have an Amazon Prime account. So, I can't even, to be honest, I can't remember when that comes due. Maybe in March, and I don't know. I think it's gone up. Does anybody know how much Amazon Prime is? It used to be $99. I don't know. I'm just going to say $150. Hope it's not that much, but And I use Amazon Prime all the time in my business for purchasing things that I need for my business. And also, I do still have a few items that I sell on Amazon that I ship out. But anyway, so this sheet, annual expenses, is just a place for you to keep track of all of those annual items that come due so that you know when the renewal date is, and then how much it is. And then you can figure, okay, are you going to kind of start saving, prorating how much money you need for that, so that you're, not caught off guard. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you also. And again, if it's something that you purchase once a year and you just put this in here, so let's say that this is my my Amazon Prime account that came due in November. I'm just going to say $150. So it's cataloged there. And then when I come over to my yearly totals, then it will show up under all of my expenses for that month. Okay. So you'll notice November now just went up compared to the other ones. All right. So let me just stop sharing here for a quick second. All right, so that's it. Again, if Excel is not your baby, the whole financial thing is not your baby, first of all, when you get to a certain point in your business, then it's probably time just to hire a bookkeeper. Hire somebody to keep track of all your records. But the reason that I like using this spreadsheet is it's very simple. Once you have it set up, super simple. And what I really love about it is it's always available to me. So the minute I order something, or if I go to the post office and I have a $10 receipt for postage, I come home and I immediately type it in so that I have it. And then I just throw, if it's a paper receipt, you could throw it in a box, you could take a picture of it, something so that you have it. But then the beauty is two things really, but the beauty is at the end of the year, you're not spending hours trying to collect all these receipts. And as the CEO of your business, knowing your financials is so important. So by using something like this, you will know in a quick glance where you stand financially with your business. And if you need to make adjustments, if you need to go out there, shake the bushes and make some more money, or maybe let go of some of those expenses that aren't serving you. So I would love to hear what you're doing with your financial tracking. If you're using any other system, if this was kind of an aha for you, if you think you're going to use it. Again, I'll put in the comments below a link. You can just go up to the Google Drive and download it. You will need to use Excel. And if you have any trouble whatsoever, just reach out. I would love to help you. On that first sheet, there's a link. So if you would want to connect with me through my calendar, sign up. I do offer a free biz analysis, basically, or an assessment. And I just take a look at how your business is set up, some of the back end foundation pieces, maybe your funnel, some of your marketing pieces, or even if you get stuck with this, and I'm happy to give you some help. So thank you for watching. Thank you for giving me your time today. Again, let me know in the comments anything that you loved about this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more. All right. Take care.